All right, guys. So we're always hearing about sales figures, sales market, where it's going, where it's been, where it's going, all that stuff. But the rental market for 2025, what do we think it's going to do as pros in the industry? Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
G'day. How
Good
are
morning.
you? How
Good,
are
thank
you?
you. I'm good. Ready for another Thursday.
Go Thursday. Cleo, we were talking about metrics for rental people out there. It's quite hard to sort of understand where we're coming from, where we're going. The industry loves to talk about sales prices, sales market, interest rates, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of chatter around that rental market. In 2025, what would you be doing if you're a tenant and a landlord out there?
If I was a tenant, I would be conscious of not overspending during Christmas. I believe that the market for next year will see landlords wanting rent increases again because annually they come into effect usually sort of mid-year and the beginning of the year. And if you're a tenant out there and you've got Christmas holidays, you might have overspent a bit on the presents. I would be very mindful to keep rent a priority. Not that you wouldn't, but we do tend to see a few tenants fall behind after Christmas due to, everybody, has, holidays. And like I said, so I feel the market will still be strong. I can't see a huge influx of properties coming on in 2025 in the beginning, unless we support investors back into the market, which is more sort of your area with the stats and figures. But this year, we've seen a lot of investors pull out of the market, and that's in turn taken away a lot of rental properties for tenants, which is why they say there's a shortage and there's not many properties. So I'm hoping to see the investor come back one, and that tenants just be cautious because we do all tend to overspend around the holiday season.
And then probably the question on everyone's lips is rental prices. From what we can see out there at the moment, it seems to be rental properties seem to be more scarce. And how do you think that's going to sort of roll out in 2025? And what does that mean to the rental figures?
I can't see a lot of change. I feel like it's going to be very similar to what we are now, which is very stable. There's not a chunk of properties that come on all at once, and there's a huge smorgasbord of property. I see the prices not going up exuberantly like they had done in the beginning of 2024, where property had become vacant and the landlord was getting $200 a week more in rent or $100 a week more in rent. I feel I feel like we are in a bit more of a stable situation. Things have leveled. And for 2025, I hope to see more rental stock for tenants, and that will help with pricing, if there's more properties, obviously. At the moment, tenants are still paying a premium to live on the northern beaches, especially. There have been a lot of tenants for 2024 that have had to move out of the area, which is a shame. So I can never see rents coming down for next year at all. I feel like they'll either remain very similar to what we have now, or they will go up. The other thing that might make a bit of a change is rent increases. Rent increases do tend to force a tenant out if a landlord is sending a 60-day notice, which might mean at a particular time of year when all these rent increases usually annually are coming into their anniversary, that might boost the market a bit and give tenants a bit more choice, because some tenants can't afford the increase and then they will have to move out. So That's another offset.
Is a landlord conscious about in 2025? I guess if you're giving a 60-day rental increase, is a landlord conscious about delivering that message into Christmas? Because sort of today is probably the day that if you're giving. Actually, I didn't think about that. If you're giving a rental increase with postage and
It's a Christmas present that nobody wants.
this is the week that landlords should not put up rent. This is the actual week.
This is where property managers kick back and we just chill and do nothing. We say, no, Mr. Landlord, now's not a good time. No, well, look, no one wants to
Yeah.
be the Grinch for Christmas, but yeah, look, it is a thing. We do get a lot of clients that are mindful of that. Every year, I've been doing this a long time. I've got a lot of landlords that are like, I don't want to put the rent up for the tenant in Christmas. Let's hold
Yep.
off till November,
No,
December and take effect in the new year. Another
good
thing
for you.
that plays on their mind is if you do give a tenant a rent increase and they move out at Christmas, will they be able to re-let their property during the Christmas period? And holiday period. Some landlords are conscious, even though our market is so different and strong right now. I don't believe that there would be problems around this time of year, any time of year for rentals, but it is something that, a long-term investor will always have in their mind. It's like having a periodic lease come out of into August. They don't want to re-let during winter. Same thing, they don't want to do the same for Christmas. So that's why tenants do get a bit of a reprieve for Christmas. But if I was a tenant, don't think that it's not coming. You might have this couple, 2 3 month little period where you can sort of regroup and maybe plan financially for the year. But those landlords will be waiting for that time. I've already got quite a few owners asking me now, where's the market sitting? How's my rental property performing? Can I get more? And I'm doing a few of those more and more each day. So, yeah.
What's in 2025? What do you think the trend will be with complaints? What's the typical complaint in 2025 for a landlord and a tenant that you're going to hear?
I think the complaint for the landlord will be outgoings are increasing significantly, being strata, council, water, land tax. You've talked about it on many shows. I
Yeah.
think that is going to impact next year, definitely. And I think the biggest complaint for tenants will be upkeep of the property following rent increases.
Ah, so, and I guess in a higher interest rate environment, landlords maintain properties less.
Yes. And they still want the increase. And a
Yeah,
tenant's mindset has always been, well, if I pay more, I want more. It's not like I pay more because the
same
value
thing.
of the property's increased. I'm
Yeah,
paying more. I want more in the property. I want this fix, that fix, that fix. And then the owners um, get influx with maintenance requests.
and with the level of rents, you're confident that, given your knowledge, that it's not going to go down. Do you think it will go up, stable? And if it's to go up, what sort of percentage do you think we'll see from the increase from the beginning of the year to the end of the year?
I can't see things going up like 10% like they had in some crazy areas this year, 2024. I think will stabilize rents. And if the Reserve Bank does put interest rates on hold or down or whatever they say they're going to do and they don't do. If that happens, I think that might change um, the rental market and how it's going to perform. I'm probably seeing still an increase of about 4 to 5%.
Okay, so if someone's got a rent of 700 a week, you reckon it's going to be about $20 over the course of the year that you'll see that rent go up?
Yeah, because you like, I don't want to put it up more than $30. My tenant got a $60 rent increase last year, $30, modest, fair. That worked out about 4%, 5%, something like that. So
Now, before we go, something for people to remember is we've talked about rental growth, our crystal ball for next year. But there's also a catch up for the last year or the year before. So what I'm actually noticing is I've been closely watching how much we're renting properties. The rental spread, I call it rental spread in our business. So it was what it was rented for previously and what it's rented for now. I call that the rental spread, which effectively is a catch up or a reset of it actually should have been higher. Do you think that caught up has been done in the rental market across markets, or do you think landlords are still catching up with where their rent should be, given the aggressive sort of last 2 years of rental increases?
I think they're still playing catch up. We still have a majority of properties that have got very long-term tenants. So to catch that up in 1 or 2 years is not really possible for a tenant that's had a 5, 6, 7 year tenure, you know. So landlords are still catching that up, definitely. It's only when a tenant moves and the property is vacant that the landlord can truly catch up with the market. It's very
Okay,
difficult for an owner
that's
to
it.
do
Yeah,
that with a tenant. Yeah.
that's interesting. Cleo, I can hear someone calling in the background.
I'm sorry.
So
Can only do very short snippets in this time of the morning.
that that door's going to be karate chopped in pretty quickly. So
Thank
take
you.
care. Thank you for your insights, and we'll see you later.
See you.
See you
Have a
next
good day,
Thursday.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.